Craft brews and casual conversations. The end of 2021 is here. My guests are my wife.
Hi.
Her name's Corissa. I impregnated her, planted the seed.
And wait a minute. Please don't say that, because now I've got visions in my head and they're not sugar plums, you know?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. And then the other guest is my good friend Todd from the Sandy and Toddcast, from Haunted State, from 8,000 radio shows that nobody knows about. Overall swell fella.
How's it going? Happy New Year's, guys.
Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year.
Lovely to have you on here. I thank you for coming on. We were maybe going to hang out, but with the COVID stuff, I wasn't even going to. Before you said that you weren't going to come, I was going to tell you not to come because I have a little bit of a weak cough. And I was like, fun stuff.
Hopefully it stays that way. Hopefully it doesn't manifest into something worse.
Yeah.
I don't think it will. I think it'll be okay. But
Tested.
So we're here to do New Year's shit. Before we do that, though, let's talk about the beer, Todd. So I'm drinking a sour because when we think about 2021, I think sour kind of sums it up. I'm drinking the Warhead Orange Pineapple Sour Smash Up Ale from Artisanal Brew Works. Warheads, a great candy. When you get the big packs, it comes with 13 pieces. I once or twice shoved all 13 pieces in my mouth as a child just to take my taste buds on a wild ride. So it's we're really diving into some nostalgia here, but it's sour candy. This one is a sour candy ale made in collaboration with Impact Confections, the makers of Warheads. They're sweet, they're sour, and they're crushable pint after pint. Each ale features a different Warheads Extreme Sour or Warheads Extreme Sour Smash Up candy flavoring that has been brewed to match the point when the candy goes from sour to sweet and the flavor pops out. We choose this stage of the candy to mimic our ales after, as we sought a delicate balance between sourness, flavor, sweetness, and drinkability in R&D. Don't know what R&D means, but it's there. The result is a drink of nostalgic, like I said before, fun, and crushable pint after pint. 5% ABVs.
Wow. Have you had some already? Do you like it? Is it good?
I had a different flavor. I haven't had this orange pineapple one. I had a blueberry one. It wasn't that sour, but let me try this one.
All right. Because this sounds good. The apple pie. Yeah, that sounds good.
It's got that little like tingle to it. A tingle in my mouth. Ooh.
You can get some cream at the doctor for a tingle. Rub that stuff on. It'll go right away.
I kind of get some citrus out of it. I don't necessarily get direct orange or pineapple out of it, but it's a good blend. It's kind of like a traditional sour, and I'm about it. It's good.
Yeah.
I'm sad.
And now, Corissa can't drink, so she is having a delicious glass of Welch's finest sparkling grape juice.
Yeah.
Welch's grape juice. We remember, that kind of thing.
That's right. So Todd, you were saying you were drinking something very Wisconsin-y earlier.
Have you ever had like either brandy or whiskey slush?
Yeah,
yes.
For sure.
Okay. It's very Wisconsin. I mean, it's kind of like, I think it's a lot like having a whiskey old fashioned or something like that, but you put it in a big bucket and you freeze it.
Yep.
And that's what I had tonight. The little whiskey slush, sweet with some 7-Up and a cherry on top.
There you go.
Yeah, it's like a 85-year-old man going into New Year's. I got to have my raw onions later on tonight because my mom always did that. I'm not sure why.
The Cannibal Sandwiches or just raw onions?
Just raw onions.
Okay.
Cannibal Sandwiches, yes.
Yeah.
And then raw onions, and then also the fish stuff, the herring.
Pickled herring. Absolutely. So
I've never had any of that.
No. So the Cannibal.
You're not missing anything.
The Cannibal Sandwiches, I think, are a typical Wisconsin thing. Is it more Wisconsin than any other place?
I think so. Yeah.
Or Midwest maybe, but pretty much it's just you get rye chips or rye bread, and you put raw ground beef on it, and you put onions on top of it. My dad loves them. He eats them every year on New Year's. I've had them before, and it's actually not that bad from what I remember. It's been a long time, but it's also
sounds terrible.
My dad's husband, Jim, he always gave us the pickled herring because you eat it at midnight and it's supposed to bring you good luck. So I've had many a pieces of pickled herring before.
And how's your life going? Everything good, or is that just maybe it's time to quit the pickled herring?
It's been a couple years.
It's been a while since I've had the pickled herring, but I was talking to Corissa a little earlier before. I used to love going to my dad's for New Year's. That was always kind of the thing. Like when I was younger, I was like, oh, I want to go to dad's because he always would be like make this big spread for the family, and we would just watch movies. And then it was always a lot of fun. And then we did little things like that with pickled herring at midnight.
Mm-hmm.
Good moments, a lot of fun.
That stuff you grow up with, and my mom and dad, and this blows my mind when I think about it today. But like back when I was little, they were like the people. Everybody came to their house for New Year's. They always came to their house for the parties. There was a lot of drinking, a lot of card playing, a lot of laughter, and then as my parents got older, that all stopped. And so that's kind of remember your parents as they were maybe 10 years before they pass away. And to think back that they were the ones throwing these huge parties, people are getting drunk, puking off the balconies, stuff like that. Boy, I'm so proud of my parents because they had some great parties.
Yeah, it wasn't, I went to one party at my aunt's house in Minnesota once for New Year's.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I did throw up. I don't think anybody knew I threw up, but I made it to the bathroom. Maybe. I can be a pretty secret
puker.
Yeah. So sometimes, usually I'm not. I'm very loud when it comes to vomiting, but
not at the lake.
When I have to be, like when we go to the lake at my grandma's house, who scolds me for drinking too much, but it's like I'm with my cousin and my uncle, and I gotta, I can't just I gotta be caught up with them. I gotta be on the same level.
Well, and your uncle's out there puking off the dock.
Yeah, he's puking off the dock, and then I have to like sneak into the bathroom and be quiet, which is very hard for me to do, and I've done it. So I'm that's one of my superpowers.
Again, very proud of you as well. Not only my parents, but tonight I'm very proud of you. So
we never did anything for New Year's growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never did. I don't have any like fun New Year's traditions or anything like that.
But now you got your own family, so you can do whatever you guys want to do, which is apparently do podcasts on New Year's Eve.
While the kid's taking a shower and then going to bed.
Right.
So that's his thing, but that's okay. We're I'm happy to have you on here. Good to see you in some form.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're wearing glasses, which is I think a first for me. I don't know that.
You've never seen me in glasses?
I don't think so. Do you usually?
I wear usually when I do this stuff, I wear my contacts. But this isn't a video podcast, so I can get away with looking a little shabby tonight. So that's what I do.
There you go. So Todd, I figured we would kick off this New Year's show. We talked about some good memories. We can get to some more later. But a lot has happened in 2021. Of course, we've been dealing with this pandemic now for a long time, COVID-19. We got the Delta variant. We got the Omicron variant. So many things going on. You got needles going in us. We're getting vaccines. Some of us aren't getting vaccines. We're wearing masks. Some of us aren't wearing masks. A lot of political divide. But one thing that we can all agree on is that we've lost some very special people in 2021. And I have a list, an in memoriam list. It's not of all the people that have passed away in 2021, but some people that impacted my life, and that I think we should highlight their beings a little bit. So
all right, I'm ready.
All right. So first things first. One of the first death that really struck a chord with me was Larry King, 87 years old, passed away in January. Of course, a legendary broadcaster. He oftentimes would talk about how much he hated eggs. His teeth would fall out mid-interview. He always looked he looked like he was decaying for quite some time now, but he managed to be 87 years old, smoked like a chimney. The dude just never stopped asking questions, and I love Larry King, and I was very sad to see him go. He was one of the person that I was like, he's never going to die, and he did. So,
yeah, and I remember like early in my radio broadcasting career, one of the stations I was at, Larry King was the afternoon guy, because he had a radio talk show besides doing the TV stuff on CNN. And so we carried Larry King in the afternoon and, Poughkeepsie, you're live, and then you're like, hi, Larry, first time caller. And the true story. So a true story. I actually got on Larry King one afternoon. Do you know who Andrew Dice Clay is?
Absolutely. The Dice Man.
Right.
Hey.
Okay. So he's on with Larry King, for crying out loud.
All right.
And Andrew was known for being very vulgar in his comedy, which I have no problem with. If anybody spends any time with me, I'm dropping the F-bomb left and right. But I also know that it's an easy laugh for me to get somebody to laugh if you use vulgarity and stuff. So I'm a young buck just in radio, and I call up Larry's show because I'm going to get on and I'm going to tell Andrew Dice Clay how horrible he is and all this. And I go on and like, oh, it'd be nice if you could do some jokes, that didn't include vulgarity. And so Andrew goes, oh yeah, basically suck this is basically what he says.
Yeah.
And Larry's laughing at me and they're making fun of me and all that kind of stuff. So I was actually on Larry King Live with Andrew Dice Clay, and I had totally forgotten that story until you brought up his death just
That's awesome.
now. So
Andrew Dice Clay.
That is cool.
Hickory dickory duck. You don't know that.
No, I don't.
he'll show you later on.
Yeah.
Just think of what rhymes with duck.
Yeah, I can imagine.
The second person on the list that I have is the legendary man who told us, he's going to give it to us and things like that. DMX, 50 years old. Arr, arr. We give a barking salute to DMX, who, rest in peace, he spent some time in the clink. He had some troubles, but man, did he do a sweet rendition of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. May he rest in peace. Third on the list, Paul Mooney. You know who Paul Mooney is, Todd?
No, I mean, Mooney sounds familiar, but I think that's from something way long time ago.
So he's 79 years old. He passed away. He was a stand-up comedian. He got a lot of attention being part of Chappelle's show back in the day on the Comedy Central show.
Gotcha.
He he just like gave advice or whatever. He was I think he was part of a segment called Ask a Black Dude, and which was really funny. He played a character called Negro Damas. So it was very good, and I was sad to see him go. Next on the list, one of the bigger players I think on the list, in my opinion, the one that said, "You got what I need, but you say he's just a friend." Biz Markie, R.I.P. died, I think, of diabetes. I'm pretty sure the diabetes got him. I could be wrong.
I think. You're listing off all these names, and I remember when they passed away, but sometimes when you get later in the year, you start forgetting that they've gone.
Yeah.
And so you're like, oh my God, that's right. DMX died. And oh, that's right. Larry King's, pushing up daisies and driving the dirt bus or whatever you want to call it. And like, how is it possible that Biz Markie is gone? Like, how old are we? Like 85 or something like that now?
Yeah. Biz Markie was,
you said 50,
50s,
right?
I think.
He was only 50.
Yeah. I mean,
pretty young.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a bummer. Next on the list, I don't really know much about this guy. I know he's a politician. Colin Powell passed away. A lot of people were bummed about that. I mean, he was in office during the Bush administration, right? Obama too, maybe?
I think he was both.
I believe it was Bush. And the thing about him was, he was I think, a great leader of our military and all that kind of stuff. And I think he was just a very, very straight talking guy. Didn't matter if you were Republican or Democrat, this guy just said it like it was, and that's, we need more of that in this world. We need more Colin Powells. And I think what you saw when people were upset was that, hey man, we could use some of this right now.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Okay, absolutely. Next on the list was a recent death, John Madden. So I talked about this on air on my radio show a little bit. A lot of people know John Madden as the broadcaster. He's a big football broadcaster. He made yellow circles, yellow arrows, crisscross applesauce, that kind of shit. And some people know him as the Oakland Raiders coach. I believe he took them to a Super Bowl and maybe even won a Super Bowl with them. I know John Madden from the video games.
Yeah.
So my love for football stemmed from the Madden video game series. The first one I ever got was Madden 2001. Eddie George from the Tennessee Titans was on the cover, and that's the team I played my franchise with, was the Tennessee Titans. That was when Steve McNair was on there, Yancey Thigpen, a guy named Yancey, Frank Wycheck, Eddie George. It was kind of a powerhouse of a team. And, of course, John Madden's the broadcaster. I didn't necessarily always like John Madden as a broadcaster, but...
Yeah, but you team him up with Pat Summerall. That was a great combination because you kind of had Sleepy Pat, who just kind of went through the motions but was very good at communicating. And then Madden would say something silly or stupid or, meathead-like.
Right.
And it was just good. It was good. It was good broadcasting.
You used to be able to stick them on those hands to catch those gloves or bet those balls. Now you just got those gloves. They're drinking crazy juice out there. It says Gatorade, but there's something in there, Pat.
And they had every Thanksgiving there was that big turkey with all the turkey legs on it, right?
Yep, absolutely. So the video games are really what I think sparked my love for football. Of course, my dad watched the Green Bay Packers anytime he could, and like my kids do now, I was like, this shit's boring. But then once I got that video game, I was like, oh, this shit's fun. And you know, they release a new one every single year. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of millennials can relate to the video games and the impact that John Madden had on that, which is pretty cool, in my opinion.
Yep.
And last but not least, we found out the news today. Betty White, 99 years old, 18 days away from her 100th birthday, passed away. We don't know what. But I mean, we can't say I'm surprised.
I think she was just old, right?
Yeah,
right.
I can't say I'm surprised, but a bummer
but I'm
nonetheless.
Very sad.
I think she was cursed a little bit because they were building up this 100th birthday up and up, and
I know
it got. She didn't quite get there. Very, very close though.
I know. I was so sad when I heard that today. I didn't believe you. He saw it on Facebook or wherever you saw it.
No, I've made the joke, Todd, a couple of times, just like randomly. We'll cook dinner. I'm like, oh, Betty White died.
So I told him it's
his
fault.
You know what? You are a bitch. That is what you are.
Yeah. There have been so many times that he has said this to me just randomly. We'll be in the grocery store, we'll be out to eat or whatever, and he'll be like, "Oh my God, babe, Betty White died." And so today we're out to lunch, and he says this to me, and I'm like, "Shut up. No, she hit it. No, she didn't. No." And then he's like, "No, seriously, look." And I'm like looking through these news articles and I'm trying to see like who's reporting on it. And I'm like, "No, these aren't credible sources. This is just a hoax."
As shitty as TMZ is, as like people,
yes.
they are always 100% on the button when it comes to reporting deaths.
When I saw that, I knew it was true. And I got to show you guys something. So you a lot of times will see my podcast. You see the back of my studio, but you don't see up in the corner. I've got all these little figurines and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, like there's Mr. Rogers and stuff like that. I've got tons of them. Futurama, Bob Ross, all sorts of stuff. But over here, I have and a friend gave this to me. It's a signed autograph of Alan Ludden with his wife Betty White.
Nice.
So I was a huge Alan Ludden fan, along with Betty White. Alan was a game show host back in the day. And so a friend gave me that to me, and that's always in my studio. So when I'm recording my shows or whatever, it's always there. So she was, pretty important in my life. And our good friend Lisa Hale is devastated. Betty White was her idol. Like if you had one idol in your life, that was her. So it's kind of a rough day for Lisa.
I know Betty White most from Match Game. Because when I was a young lad, I watched Game Show Network like crazy because it used to be part of just your extended cable plan. Now you got to pay like fucking way extra. But I watched Match Game. Was she on Hollywood Squares as well?
In later years, she was on like the version with Tom Bergeron a couple of times when they brought all the old game show people back in. But yeah,
but that's my most. I never watched Golden Girls.
I loved Golden Girls.
Oh my God, that show. Here's the thing. I can sit down and I can basically walk you through the entire script of every show and tell you pretty much whatever every season. She was great in Mary Tyler Moore. And one of the things that she did, and you may have seen this online, and our friend Lisa did a podcast on it today, was back in the day, she had a variety show that she had been working on, and the host of the show left or got canned, and they brought somebody else in, and Betty was still, the second person in hand, and that person left and they brought in somebody else. Well, finally they said, Betty, you just take the show. So she had a variety show like in the 50s.
Nice.
Yeah. And
she had a black American on the show, a dancer.
I just watched this today.
Yeah. And there was this pushback that she had this black person on her show, an African-American dancer. Well, she gave this person more airtime, and the more airtime she gave him, the more people were pissed off about it. And she basically said, eat rocks. This guy's great. He's going to stay here. The show got canceled in the long run over it. But, her attitude was, I'm not going to play that game. So again, hats off to her in the 50s, a woman in television standing up like that.
Yeah,
whatever.
Good person. And it's a bummer that she passed away.
I just feel like she was America's grandma. And so like everyone is grieving right now over the loss of her.
Hot grandma, like the kind of grandma, like even in her old age, she was naughty and you kind of liked it. Like, go Betty. You know, you hope she got little Ryan Reynolds or something like that on the side. That was okay.
So hopefully 2022 doesn't bring as much heartbreak, which it's bound to do it.
It's going to.
Do we have any
'cause
predictions?
Everybody says it. I don't know.
Do we have any predictions on people who are going to pass away?
Well, I have a list of people I'd like to die, but I can't give that out because that might tell too much about who I am. But it's sad. And as you get older, and you're going to see this because I'm a little bit older than you, but the icons, like the time that you realize that Conan O'Brien has passed away, that's going to hit you pretty hard, right?
It's going to suck.
When David Letterman goes, I'm going to lose my shit. And so it's going to happen to us. We all get older, people die, and you're just blown away by it every damn time.
I think the biggest celebrity death that actually
will
impacted me was Robin Williams so far.
Sure.
When I heard he passed away, because Mrs. Doubtfire, Flubber, Jack, all these movies that I watched as a kid, and I loved Robin Williams. And oddly, when I look at pictures of my dad when he was younger, he looks.
He does.
Just like Robin Williams.
He really kind of does.
So I just kind of associated with Robin Williams with with my dad. And so that was a big one. But I
remember I was watching the news that night, and they got to the very end of the newscast, and they had to rush it in. This just in from Los Angeles, from Hollywood. Robin Williams dead at the age of whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe it. It literally was, they gave him 10 seconds at the end of the newscast as they were showing credits.
That should have been the whole show.
It should have been, but they literally didn't have the information until the very end, so they just had to sneak it in under the wire. And I thought, how could this be possible?
Yeah, I was sad to hear that. And if you ever had the chance to listen to Bobcat Goldthwait kind of tell the story of Robin Williams, he does a really good job of it because he was best friends with Robin Williams and really had more information on it. And so if you ever have time, he's done a handful of podcasts where he's talked about it. But enough of the sad shit. We're sad enough in 2021. Let's move on to the cliches of resolutions. So Todd, do you have any New Year's resolutions?
Yeah, fuck them all. That's my resolution. No, I don't do it because number one, I know that I'm not going to follow through on stuff.
Okay.
But I do feel like it's okay to look at yourself and go, okay, this is where I need to do better in my life.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's a time for reflection. I was reading someplace today that some of the resolutions have gone from losing weight or stop smoking and all that to cutting back on social media time, a few less selfies during the day, shit like that. And it's like, oh God, you guys don't know how to do resolutions. Come on, work it hard.
I also read that probably through the same service that you saw.
Probably. Is that one going around? Do a lot of people use that for free or something?
All the time. Some of my resolutions, Todd, of course, losing weight is one of them, as always, because I'm always
tough, though, man.
I'm always on the train.
Me too. And I gained some weight again. And it's and I know I'll lose it. I'm not worried about that. But it's like I get in these slumps where I just don't give a shit enough to do anything.
Yeah, I kind of get like that too. And it's like I just got to get back into more healthy habits. So that's I signed up for a half marathon. I've been running a little more often, but I need
joined a gym.
Joined a gym.
Yeah.
How many times have you gone?
A handful. You've only been a member for a couple of weeks, but
and then the one week I did
You're
it.
So supportive, Corissa. I love that. I got to get one of those for me.
She does.
Somebody
well.
very supportive.
But yeah, so that's kind of the goal there. Another thing is limiting social media and my phone usage. Phone usage.
Yeah.
I want to limit to an hour and a half a day or less.
Aye.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna happen, but we'll see. Other things. I want to go on a paranormal investigation, and that's where you come in, Todd.
Oh, so I see. This really isn't an interview for a podcast.
No,
this is some sort of this is like a job application. Is what this is.
Well, it could start with you coming to our house because
Let me ask you a question about your background, boy.
More weird things have occurred in the household of the Glazers. Yeah. Well, the other day, I think I told him about the Google Home. I don't know. I don't remember when the last time you were on here, but we were watching. I think we did talk about it because it was around Halloween time. We were watching the new Halloween movie, Halloween Kills, and we have a buffet table, and the buffet table is about an inch or inch and a half away from the wall. Okay, we have a Google Home, which it's flat, it's circular, and there's no way that Google Home can fall in between it unless it's sideways. And we were watching it, and all of a sudden something just slides down the wall, and it's the Google Home. So, and it was flat. It wasn't propped up or anything. So at some point it had to go up to the sideways and slide down. And then it was probably like last week or something. I was in my recliner. I felt something like kind of like rub my head, kind of like scratch my head a little bit. And then I heard like a bump on the wall right next to me.
Yeah. And I was sitting on the couch and he was like, oh my God. Like, did you hear it? He goes, did you hear that? And I'm like, no, hear what?
And then recently the dogs once again were looking at the front door. Nothing's there, and they're just barking and growling.
And it always happens. I feel like it always happens when I'm home alone with the dogs and you're not here. And this time, though, normally they're barking into the kitchen, but this time they're sitting here staring at the front door and just barking and growling at the door. And I'm like, and it was a while.
Yeah.
And I'm checking my like Ring camera. I'm like, is anybody outside? Like, there's nobody out there. So I don't know. It was really creepy.
So you always come over and we can look into that.
So how much of this has really started kicking up since Carissa's been pregnant?
Pregnant? I guess
feel
a lot.
Like a lot. Well, we've had more incidences.
Yeah, I suppose.
So like my first thing comes to mind, like maybe she's doing it to a certain extent, like unknowingly, poltergeist kind of thing. A lot of times that happens with younger girls who are going through emotional stuff and blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden doors and cabinets are flying open and dishes are flying around the house and stuff like that.
Typical woman things.
Exactly. Right. Fix that, would you? And then, but there is some evidence that says that women, when they're pregnant, actually do have more emotional ties and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes they're the ones that are creating some of the stuff go around them. So it'd be interesting to come and investigate, see if we find something or if we don't.
Yeah.
So during October, we did that podcast about paranormal pregnancies.
Yeah.
Remember? Yeah.
Yeah. Where people like experience like pain from their ancestors and stuff like that. I don't know how true that is, but anyway, so that's on the list of resolutions. Another resolutions, I think I need to do better at acknowledging my successes.
Yes, absolutely.
And
give yourself some credit.
Yeah.
Take pride in the work
I would,
that you do.
Here she is again being really supportive. And you know what I was going to say is he needs to be nicer to you. That was what I was going to say.
That should be number one on the list.
I'm not even mean to you.
Are you kidding me?
I've been out with you guys a couple of times. It's like, holy shit, he's an asshole. That's the kind of thing.
No. It's all out of love.
Yeah.
Like me and Madison say, if we're not giving you a hard time, that's when you should start to worry.
Oh, I know. Because Madison is the exact same way. Madison she's
funny,
the
though.
Same person as you.
It's funny.
Yeah, to you. Or like when you've been dealing with it for, 10 hours and you're done and you've been the butt of all the jokes for the whole day.
She's exaggerating.
I'm not.
I know you're not. I mean, again, I was with you guys for a couple of hours one night. It was just bam, bam, bam. And I'm looking at the floor to see if you're laying down there yet from all the hits you're taking from them. But, you're standing up pretty good.
You act like I'm like this verbally abusive husband.
He's not. He's not. I'm just giving you crap.
You're not. But I will say, though, since I've been pregnant, I've been a little more emotional.
Oh. Yeah.
She's been more emotional or you've been more emotional?
She has.
God, how do you deal with that?
We saw the new Spider-Man, and I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but it made her cry a couple times.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
How does Spider-Man make you cry?
You gotta see it.
Have you seen the Spider-Man movies, the new ones?
No, the last Spider-Man movie I saw is it Kirsten Dunst was in it?
Yeah, she's in it. She was MJ.
Yeah, that was like way back, right? With Tobey Maguire or something.
Yeah. Well, if you ever get the need, watch them. I think they're great. Well, yeah, she's definitely been more emotional, and that's another resolution: get through this pregnancy, with my sanity intact, as much of it as I possibly can.
How long you guys got yet?
Till June.
Oh God.
So
we have half a year.
So those are my resolutions. Corissa, do you have any?
Well, I told you that I wanted to spend more time outside.
Okay.
I just think that we oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. I think that with our free time, we tend to spend it inside or watching movies or, which are not always bad things, but, I think we could get outside a little bit more.
I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Not now. It's shitty cold out and wintry.
Well, right.
Todd, you spend a lot of time inside, don't you?
Way too much time. I mean, for me, for being an introvert, it's like the pandemic has been kind of good because I don't have to be around people. But then on the other hand, it's horrible because I don't have to be around people. So I don't make myself. So when I do have to go on public, I just hate myself
it's
for it.
It's just that much worse.
Oh my God. Like I have to go to the eye doctor. I don't want to go to the eye doctor. I'll do anything to get out of it, but I got to go. So, it's just stuff like that.
Okay. Anything else? Go outside?
Just be ready for the baby. That's not really a resolution.
No, that's kind of a life change we have to get accustomed to. All right. Well, that's that, I guess.
You've gone through the baby thing before, Drew, and Chris, you have not, correct?
Correct.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's you can only get ready for a baby to a degree until it's here.
Right.
And then that's when it starts.
So what's the thing that scares you the most about having a child?
The child?
What it's going to look like.
What do you mean?
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
You guys are both very attractive, cute little couple. It'll be fine.
Hopefully.
But I always worry about like to be a parent and have like your kids sometime when they hit their teens be really naughty and like get in trouble and doing drugs and dealing money on the corner and play, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
That's what I'd
just
be
like all
afraid
the
of.
bad shit they can get into.
Yeah.
Well, as a high school teacher, I can tell you I'm terrified of Madison. She's not far away from high school age.
Yeah,
and
I know. She's only got a couple years.
There's a lot of good kids, a lot of good high school kids, a lot of students that are great, and then it's kind of like the handful of bad ones that make the image bad. But it's scary when I hear 14-year-old girls talking about wieners in
Oscar Mayer.
I wish it was of the Oscar Mayer variety, but in ways in which I'm like, why are you saying that?
Right.
And I'm just like, huh.
Well, we were just watching a show with Madison today, and some of the stuff that they were talking about on the show, I'm like,
Cobra Kai.
I'm like, are you old enough to be hearing this? Or what was the one thing?
Eye banging?
Yeah. So the
he's been eye banging you all day, girl.
That was the quote from the show, and he says to Madison, like, if I ever hear you talking like that, and she goes, I don't even know what that means.
Good answer. Good answer, kid.
She's got that one in her back pocket for whenever you bring something. I don't know what that is.
Right.
Hopefully. Yeah. Hopefully she really doesn't. Eye banging. Was that a term you used a lot back in the day?
No.
Yeah. How about you, Todd?
Shit.
Have you ever eye banged somebody?
I don't even know what I've never had eye banging done to me in my entire life. Nobody's ever eye banged me before.
Well, it's like in the Three Stooges, when they go boop.
Oh, yeah, that's what
that I've done before. Yeah, but, I was drunk at a bar one night, and there was this guy, and,
Yeah. That's how it goes. So, yeah, no other resolutions?
No.
Okay. Well, then. Okay, go ahead. The kid's coming out. He's thirsty. He's going to get a drink of water.
Is he going to get some of that sparkling juice from Welch's?
He could.
Probably not. No, he's got some water set aside. He's ready to drink it. But the baby stuff, it's terrifying. I'm 31.
He thinks that he's approaching old dad age.
Oh, bud.
And he's far from it.
Okay. Right.
Oh, see, now that's cute. Look at that. That's a lovely family.
Say something real quick.
Quietly.
Booty head.
Booty head. You do look like
have you ever heard
head.
of eye banging before? Oh, he's gone. I can see.
His whole family does. His whole family eye bangs.
I think my dad was like 40 when he had me, so I would consider that to be. I think once you get beyond 40, it's maybe you're probably an old dad at that point. But 31 is fine.
So I mean, like, by the time I'm 36, I'll have an 18-year-old already.
Yeah.
And then
so this is why your perception of like being an old dad is skewed, because you were a young dad.
Yeah. My daughter saw me graduate high school.
Yep.
Isn't that weird?
Wait, stop for a second. What was that?
Madison saw me graduate high school. Yeah. I was in high school when she was born.
Oh, I didn't realize. Yeah, I guess I realized that, but okay, I had to think about that one for a second.
Unfortunately, we didn't. Unfortunately, we didn't get our go on Teen Mom. I wish we could have benefited.
Made a little money.
Yeah. Fuck that show.
Because that really was when that show was first coming
thriving.
out.
Yeah. It could have been us.
Maybe it was built after you. Maybe somebody heard the Drew story and decided to,
maybe
make some cash on it.
I'll tell you some facts about that story off mic, and it's
that's extra content. People pay for that.
Yeah,
that's how you make money.
When we build a Patreon, I'll tell you the story.
Give me $10, I'll tell you all the stories you want.
Yeah. Well, Todd. So, since the last time I saw you and talked to you, what have you been up to? I know you took a little break with the Sandy and Toddcast just for the holidays. Is that kicking off again soon?
Yeah, we got a couple of the episodes planned. One is with someone who was in a near-death experience. He says he actually did die for a short period of time.
Okay.
And we're going to be speaking with him about his experience and what happened to him after that. We're hoping to talk a little bit about cryptids coming up this season.
Oh, yeah?
Which I don't know a ton about it. It's more Sandy's thing than me. I'll probably be napping during that one. And then I actually had something very interesting just happen to me that we're going to delve into too, and it has to do with ancestors.
Okay.
And a house that was part of my family that nobody knew about that I just kind of came across this week. And it's this huge house in my family that nobody really knew where it was or, and I want to we're going to talk a little bit about how ancestors, according to people in the woo-woo world, affect a lot of what we do. They help us through our lives. They help us see things that we don't see, experience things that we're supposed to experience and stuff like that. So I think they'll be kind of interesting.
Oh, absolutely. I always enjoy watching your show. My next question is, how'd you get to be so weird, and why do all these strange things happen to you?
Like what?
You've had some weird shit, dude. I just feel like, well, first of all,
listen, I'm not the one that had a kid in high school. I'm not the one
I think that's more common than some of the experiences.
Oh, so I'm the weird one because I was 42 before I was eye banging people. What do you mean? Like, give me an example of stuff that happened.
You've just had some crazy paranormal experiences. Like, there was some information that you shared with me that a handful of years ago that happened. Like stuff after your mom passing away, just some crazy stuff that you found out with that. You got this house of ancestors. Your sister does the dangling charm things and charm things, and
I was grabbing a nutsack.
Yeah.
I think what happens is that once you open your mind to just think that what we see and experience on a daily basis isn't all there is, once you're willing to kind of let that rest in your head for a little bit, then it opens you up to experience some other stuff. Like you guys having some stuff going on at your house. I know darn well that you're still going, well, that could have been this, it could have been that, all that. And that's a healthy thing to do. But when you've done all that and it still doesn't make sense and you can't really say, well, it is this or that, then you have to go, well, what's really going on here? So I think once you finally get to the point where you're willing to ask those questions and believe that you don't know everything, I think that's when your eyes open up to what's really going on around you.
Yeah, absolutely. And where do you find these people? So you have a lot of connections, a lot of people. But I mean, you have all sorts of people from all walks of life who have they have spiritual things going on, or have you had mediums on your show yet? I don't know if you have.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And then
they're actually all people, Drew, that I've known just over the years, people that became friends, people that I worked with, and just in passing or in conversations with my friends, I find out that they're a medium or they have had paranormal stuff or whatever. So it's just people that I know. And you never, in this business and radio, you never throw away your connections because you're going to use them at some point.
Yeah. I don't really have that many radio connections, to be honest. I have some. You're probably like the more important one.
That's sad. Then you're screwed.
I stick to the local radio. I mean, Art Sears used to be the guy that hooked us up with interviews. I don't know if you ever worked with Art, but
wait a minute. Tell me about Art, because I think I might know Art.
Art Sears. So he's just like a booking guy who he books the radio tours with people, and he would send us emails and going, I got this person promoting this. Shoot what station and what time, and we would shoot station and time and interview people. Art was a nice guy.
Always, is he gone now? Did he pass on?
I have no idea. I don't know what's going on. I don't think they really use him anymore.
Gotcha.
And I don't get those emails anymore because I'm not on the morning show, but I'm just the afternoon guy who pre-records all of his stuff. Yeah, that I don't know. I got to talk to Adam Scott because of it, which was cool.
That's cool, right?
Yeah. But outside of that, like I've interviewed some people on the show, but I would definitely like to get more people in the world of paranormal, because that's the stuff I'm fascinated by. And one thing I want to get is like someone who's been to space, a NASA astronaut or something like that. Okay, so interesting thing here, on a prep service or whatever, NASA hired like reached out to these religious figures, like important religious figures, to examine how people will respond to the knowledge of aliens existing. And when I read that, I say, well, why would they hire them if they're not ready to drop some fucking bombs on us and be like, yo, these motherfuckers in the sky are for real. It's happening. Those are the fuckers I want to talk to, not the religious people, the NASA folk. You know,
yeah.
Like, they got answers. You got anyone?
I think we're going to find out. And here's the thing: how are you going to react? How will I react when we find out? I believe that there's got to be.
Mm-hmm.
How stupid would we believe to think we're the only ones in the entire universe? That would be ridiculous. But how is that going to change your perspective of reality? It's just like having your first really massive paranormal experience where you nearly shit your pants. It does change your life, because again, you have to go, well, what I see every day, this chair, that refrigerator, my job, everything on this earth is not all there is. And I think as humans, we spend so much time worrying about that little bit that we actually see and experience on a daily basis. That's all we think about.
Yeah.
We think about the stuff that's on our list, that's on our table, that's in our house. And we don't open up and go, God, there's all this other stuff going on. And how can I help? How can I be a part of it? All of that kind of stuff. So
you're right.
that to me is like the crazy part. We're going to have to deal with aliens. We're going to have to deal with ghosts. Who knows what's out there.
Yeah. I think we need to pitch a show. You know, you got some Amazon Prime clout. So let's pitch a show like where Todd and Drew seek the truth. Like get the answers, get us face to face. We can do like a good cop, bad cop thing with good cops, bad cops, scientists, all that. I think that would be a good way. And then we'll drink beer on the way too. So
we'll get the gig, but nobody will talk to us. So it's just you and I in this empty conference room, hoping somebody stops by so we can interview them about, aliens in outer space. But nobody ever shows up. So it's just you and me sitting around drinking beer and talking about who we want to talk to, but we never actually get them booked for the show. Yeah, that would be fun. That would be fun. Well, Todd, do you have anything coming up in 2022 that you can look forward to already? Are you gearing up for anything spectacular, or are you just kind of living? I really don't have anything planned for the year. I mean, I've got the Sandy and Toddcast. I got the Empathecary Podcast, which is another podcast that talks about people who are or empathics. And then I'm also on a podcast weekly called Real Ghost Stories Online, which is I'm so lucky to be on it because it's like this big podcast, and Tony's been doing it for like, I said I'd like to talk to that guy, Tony. I had beers with him over Christmas, and I was trying to sneak out as much information about doing good podcasts as I could, but the drunker he got, the more he shut up about it. So my plan backfired on that. But I really enjoy that one. He sounds just like you. Well, I hired him when he was 14. Mm-hmm. So like he had to be me because there was no other choice. Yeah. I think when I first got into radio, a lot of people used to say I sounded like Bart Winkler, who's been on the show. And I think maybe like
when I first started, yeah, I kind of did because that's who I was working with. And I couldn't sound like Wade because Wade has a unique voice. But I think I'd like to think now I have my own. I have my own cadence, rhythm, sex appeal.
I think you sound more like Corissa than ever before. And just because you guys, especially now that she's pregnant, there's a lot of emotional strain coming from your voice through.
Yeah. It's actually because she's holding a knife to my side right
behind
now.
your back.
Yes.
I would like to do a podcast with you guys where it's just me interviewing you about the birthing process, being pregnant and all that. And we start from the beginning. So how did this happen? Where did it happen?
Yeah.
What was the thought process that night? How long did it last?
Yeah.
We can Krista, was it any good? All that. We start from the very beginning and then we move out to when the child is born and then we follow that child through their life.
Yeah, like the Truman Show.
Yeah.
Kind of yeah.
like that.
Let's do it.
We'll live stream the birth. That'll be the next.
I don't know about that.
The next big RP or a video stream production.
Make some money on that.
Yeah, we can sell ads, between
$15 to see her hoo-hoo, and then the head pops out, and
and then we'll have a drone shot of the hospital. The eye of the sky of the first birth on the internet, brought to you by.
I'll be broadcasting out from the parking lot of the hospital. Inside right now, Carissa's dilated and blah 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 19.
And folks, when you think about it, 10 centimeters, that is quite the gap.
And then you're standing there with a ruler, with a drawing of a dilation.
Yeah, I mean some of those circles on your wall might be.
And underneath the drawing it says artist rendering.
Yeah, that would be great.
Would it?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, it would.
If we could make some money,
we could do playing cards of the oohoo and all that other stuff too.
Yeah,
and then sell those on the side.
Yeah, hopefully you don't have to go the cesarean route.
Yeah,
I'm terrified if that happens. I'm leaving.
You can't.
What do they
leave.
do? What do they do? What do they? I don't know anything about that stuff. Do they? I know, but how far up do you get cut?
It's like
they don't do it. So they used to, like when my mom had all of us, she had a C-section, and they used to do it vertically, but now they do it horizontally.
Yeah.
So
Jesus.
you won't see.
You want to know a fun fact too? If it goes out the vaginal route, Todd, sometimes the gap, the opening,
it's called an episiotomy,
isn't good, and they got to cut the gooch.
Yeah.
So your butt crack to vag, one line, big
and
old.
Then they have to stitch you up.
And why do you want to have a child? If somebody told me that I was going to have my butt crack sliced open, there's no way I would even consider having a child.
Think of it as a butt crack extension.
Jeez. Wonder how much that runs on the side. Literally in both ways, because once you've had that done, you have no control over that part of your body ever again.
I mean,
you're at Thanksgiving dinner, you had the turkey and gravy, and now you got to get to the bathroom. So that's the way that works.
Sorry, I got the thing with the gooch. I gotta go.
I got the gooch slice.
It's
oh my god.
As a person who's been through it twice, not through giving birth, but I've taken some painful shits, but it's terrifying. Even the third time, it's going to be terrifying, because there's just so much that can go wrong, and there's so much that is on your mind, and then once the baby's out, you're like, now I gotta keep this thing alive,
right?
How do I do that? Oh yeah, milk. Okay, give me a tit, and then or give me a bottle. However, sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes you go to breastfeed, and there's all these stigmas with how you feed your baby. If you go with the formula route, you're a bad parent.
You don't love your child.
But it doesn't always work that way.
Right.
I'm pretty sure my mom gave me her teat, and I still think she didn't love me. So I don't think that has a lot to do with it. So
it used to be if you weren't a breastfed baby, if you were a formula fed baby, that's the reason why you were overweight. That's what back in the day.
Yeah.
But now, like with science, and a lot of people dismiss it, but with modern day formula, it's like right next to being as good as breast milk. It's not as good, but it's like there's like a 1% difference type of thing. But yeah, it's gonna be weird. It's been a minute since I've had a baby.
See, I think you guys should talk about this on the podcast. This is very interesting.
We're gonna have a 13-year-old, an 8-year-old,
a 9-year-old, or no, 8-year-old,
and a newborn.
Yeah. So it's
all stages of childhood.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
Oh my God.
Is this interesting? Does this intrigue you? See, your podcast intrigues me because you talk about things that I don't know in this world that you're kind of like immersed in a little bit, and now we're talking about
pregnancy,
cutting gooches and sucking tits.
Do me a favor. I want you guys to do this 10-year challenge that everybody's doing on social media. Please take a picture of yourselves right now before the baby's born, and then I want to see you in 5 years after you've gone through all the kids turning 13, 14, 15, and all that kind of stuff. And then you've got the 9-year-old, 10-year-old. I want to know how old you guys look in 5 years.
Well, we do the Christmas picture every year.
Every year, yeah.
That's a beautiful little picture. That is so sweet.
I look shitty this year, but hopefully next year.
Why do you think he looks shitty?
He thinks he looks shitty. I don't know why.
He does not. He doesn't.
He says this about every photo. Like when we were getting engagement photos done, when we were getting our wedding photos, he hated them all. So.
And those are cute too. You guys were posting some of those like over the last couple of days.
I know.
I guess.
Cute couple.
Yeah, so cute.
Too bad it was just not dogs, because then it would be even cuter. But now there's babies.
Well, we have that.
And...
We have those pictures. That picture of Barry and Phil. I sent you that.
Of the royalty, dressed up as royalty.
Her aunt thought it was
a wedding photo.
A wedding photo. Phil and Barry.
I don't know why.
They're married.
Weird. She's a weird person.
Phil tries to hunt Barry sometimes, so
True.
maybe it was a wedding photo.
Could be. Nothing wrong with that.
That picture is really cute.
It's stupid.
It is so cute.
Stupid.
I like that. I like it.
Thank you.
That's the one thing about Drew. Like, besides, kind of mouthing off to you once in a while, he's not a real animal lover. Like, if
I think
you
you'd
had
be
to put
surprised.
Surprised about what?
I do like animals.
No.
You
like animals that are not your responsibility. That is what you
exactly.
like.
I grew up on a farm. I took care of hundreds of animals on a daily basis, and it just,
Yeah.
I like me some freedom.
Yeah, so the dogs should be like easy for you.
Not really.
Yeah. Because you had a whole farm of animals that you had to care for, and now you just have 2 dogs.
That just invade my space everywhere I go. I sit
oh my gosh, it's so ridiculous. He sits on the couch and they come over by him and maybe sniff him for like 0.2 seconds, and he's like, "Oh my God, get away from me! You're so annoying."
They are.
Does he do that to you too when you go over to sniff?
But...
Shut up. When she sniffs me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that what the kids call it these days? You hear them talking about wieners and sniffing in school.
She like, we'll be sitting by each other like this, okay, on the couch, and she moves closer to me, and I'm like, where the fuck do you think I'm going? Like, there is no more space to move.
She just wants to be by you.
She is. Our legs are touching. I don't need her like more on me, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
This is what I mean.
And then I say something, and then she goes, you don't know me. It's like, no, like, why? There was no space between us. You moving closer isn't. There's still.
This is what I mean. The other day, this is why I said I'm more emotional, because was this yesterday that happened?
Oh yeah, you cried.
I cried. I went and I sat on the other side of the couch and I started crying, and he's like, "What is wrong with you?"
It's not like I said, "Yo, get the fuck away from me." I was like, you can't get any closer. Unless you're going to be sitting on me.
But did you say it like that?
Yes.
No, you didn't.
How did he say it, Carissa? Tell him.
He said.
So that he hears it.
You couldn't get it, or could you get any closer? Jeez.
I said, you don't need to get any closer. Like
you don't need to get any closer.
Because we're like this. Unless you want to start fornicating, that's as close as we could possibly be.
Obviously not, because I was able to get closer to you.
You've been in some relationships, Todd. Do you have these similar conversations?
It's interesting because I see so much of myself in Drew, and then I see so much of myself in Carissa. It's like, which one am I really like? And then I realize in both of you, which means that I should be counseling you for a very high sum of money over the next several years.
Maybe our baby will be like a
fucked up.
Todd 2.0, baby.
Holy shit, let me tell you, if that happens, run like hell. Run like hell.
He comes out sounding like Casey Kasem.
That was very dark and a little sticky. I'm sorry they had to cut your goo-hoo or whatever.
Your goo-hoo, your gooch. Which is also the name of a really big fish. In case you didn't know.
Oh, and now you know. Yeah, I'm really excited for you guys. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be, interesting. And I hope you guys share some of that because I think there's a lot of people that probably are going through what you guys are going through, even the sitting too close and all that stuff. I think that can help people while making them laugh, at least for me.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
What do you mean maybe?
It's time for surprise
Okay,
attack.
we'll be done in
Okay.
just a minute.
Let's do it. Well, tell me some surprises about mommy and daddy.
You know any surprises about me and Corissa?
Sure do.
Like what?
What are they?
Like what? There's some secrets.
I'm a little scared.
Carissa, dare or truth?
No, we're not doing truth
No,
or
we're
dare.
not doing that.
I'm the best parent ever, right?
No.
Okay, thank you. All right, buddy, we'll be done in just a second, okay? Oh, that's.
Bud,
You want to speak?
Bud. All right.
Hurry up.
Just to let everybody know, this kid does not like football. It sucks. And you should not drink beer.
We're good.
We just saw the kid evolve into like Freddy Krueger, right?
Yeah. All right.
That's great.
Well, now, I guess we're
Did you
getting.
hear him?
No,
Just so you know, I got boogers
you
on
got boogers
you.
on us. That's a day in the life of a parent, and
Yeah.
where we made another one, and it's gonna happen. But we're gonna wrap this up. We're 3 hours away from 2022 approaching, and
Yep.
maybe when we wake up, everything will be changed. The world will be different. And okay, go. And I'd like to leave us with one.
The dogs bother him. Dogs bother him.
with one final thought.
What's that?
I don't know.
You don't know?
What is Jerry Springer? How does he usually do it? All right, we got to go. This kid's not going to stop. All right. Todd, I appreciate you coming on. Thanks so much for doing it. Listen to the Sandy and Toddcast. Listen to what's the empath one called?
Empathecary
podcast. And people can, I'll tag you in all the stuff. People can follow you. We drank, or at least I drank, the Artisanal Brew Works Extreme Sour, the Warheads Orange Pineapple. I actually really liked this one. It was a lot better than the blueberry one. It was delicious. And Todd, you can get this in at my local beer place, where in the city that you live in, at the meat market on Main Street. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, it's a good place.
Okay.
I love it. You should go there and embrace yourself and just.
I embrace myself all the time.
Good.
Usually when I'm alone.
Good. Yeah, me too.
In a dark room.
Oh.
All right. Well, we'll talk soon, man. Thanks for doing this. Happy New Year.
Happy holidays. Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Pew pew audio. Goodbye, everyone.